Joshua 14 verse 10 to 12, Caleb boldly asks Joshua for the mountain God had promised him. Caleb, at 85 years old, still had faith to claim what was his. What mountains has God placed before you? Are you ready to claim them? In this video, we will delve into understanding Caleb's faith, overcoming obstacles, and practical steps to walk in faith today. 1. Caleb's faith, a model for us. Caleb's confidence in God's promise. Caleb's story begins when he, along with 11 others, was sent to scout the promised land, Numbers 13:14. While 10 spies saw giants and obstacles, Caleb and Joshua saw God's promise and potential. Numbers 14:24, but because my servant Caleb has a different spirit and follows me wholeheartedly, I will bring him into the land he went to, and his descendants will inherit it. Caleb chose faith over fear and stood on God's word, knowing that if God promised something, he would fulfill it. The lesson here is that true faith is unwavering, even when circumstances seem impossible. Caleb's endurance and patience. Caleb waited 45 years before receiving his promised inheritance. Despite the long delay, he never wavered or lost faith. Isaiah 40 verse 31, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Caleb remained strong, actively preparing for his promise instead of becoming discouraged. The lesson here is that delays are not denials. God's timing is perfect, and we must trust in his plans. Caleb's courage to face giants. The mountain Caleb wanted was occupied by Anakim giants. These were very strong and intimidating enemies. Joshua 14 verse 12, Now therefore, give me this mountain of which the Lord spoke in that day, for you heard in that day how the Anakim were there, and that the cities were great and fortified. It may be that the Lord will be with me, and I shall be able to drive them out as the Lord said. Caleb didn't ask for an easy victory, he was prepared to fight for his promise. The lesson here is that God's promises often require courage, perseverance, and spiritual warfare. 2. Obstacles to claiming our mountains. Fear and doubt. The 10 spies who doubted lost out on God's promise, Numbers 13 verse 31 to 33. Fear distorts our vision, making challenges seem bigger than God's power. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. How to overcome fear and doubt. Replace fear with faith by meditating on God's word and speaking his promises over your life. Waiting and discouragement. Caleb's wait was long, but he never lost sight of the promise. Many believers struggle with delays in seeing their prayers answered. Galatians 6 verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. How to overcome waiting and discouragement. Stay engaged in prayer and trust God's perfect timing. Spiritual warfare. The Anakims symbolize spiritual strongholds that resist God's promises in our lives. Ephesians 6 verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. How to overcome. Engage in prayer, fasting, and declaring God's promises over your situation. 3. How to walk in faith and claim your mountain. Identify your mountain. What has God spoken over your life? It could be a breakthrough, a dream, a ministry, or overcoming a personal challenge. Habakkuk 2 verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. Make your vision clear and write it down, just as God instructed Habakkuk. Take action in faith. Caleb didn't just ask for the mountain, he took steps to possess it. James 2 verse 17. Faith without works is dead. Take bold steps of obedience, prayer, and persistence. Rely on God's strength, not your own. Caleb declared, I am still as strong today as I was in the day Moses sent me, Joshua 14 verse 11. Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The lesson here is that, God equips and strengthens those He calls. In conclusion, faith, patience, and courage are needed to claim spiritual mountains. Obstacles like fear, discouragement, and spiritual warfare must be overcome. We must take steps in faith and rely on God's strength. What mountain are you believing God for? Drop a comment and share your faith journey. If this video encourages you, please like, share, and subscribe for more faith-building content. This is Kingdom Pattern.